The PlayStation 5 reveal showcased some exciting content to come for the new console. I'll probably have a video talking about the console coming out at some point with some more detail, but one thing that has many fans talking is the reveal of the new Spider Man PS4 expansion titled Spider Man Miles Morales. So today's video will be explaining the trailer and what we could potentially see in the expansion, and if it could potentially tie into the next Spider-Man game for the PlayStation 5, or PlayStation 6 whenever the game comes out. So firstly, I'll give my thoughts on the trailer. I have to say, it is pretty good and the visuals are what you'd normally expect from a Spider-Man game. Insomniac have done a brilliant job, and literally every shot just looks beautiful. I also like the holiday setting of this because it's coming out in late 2020, so just in time for the holiday release of the console itself. Nothing, however, has been confirmed if the expansion will be available to PlayStation 4 users, since it will most likely be one of the PS5 exclusives since it's releasing towards the holiday period. Also, we don't know exactly whether Spider Man Miles Morales is an expansion or a sequel to the PS4 game. Now, there was a bit of confusion because there are a few conflicting sources, mainly IGN, because IGN said the game was a sequel, but that has since been debunked, and Insomniac, to the best of my knowledge, have confirmed that Miles' Adventure is an expansion that will be added to a remastered version of the Spider Man PS4 game exclusively for the new console. Another thing that I myself have been wondering is whether Spider Man Miles Morales could set up a potential story element for the upcoming Spider Man sequel, or whether the expansion could directly tie into the sequel with a possible end credit scene, possibly teasing either something yet to come, and a Spidey sequel is almost certainly going to happen at some point in the future, given the first game sold more copies than Arkham City, aka the best game in the Arkham trilogy. Also, I wonder whether any events from the Spider Man PS4 game itself, or the DLC content The City That Never Sleeps, could possibly be referenced in the expansion, since I'm assuming that this is correct in terms of the timeline, that Miles' Adventure is presumably set possibly a few months after the game's events. I do suspect that the events will possibly be alluded to perhaps in a background news report or mentioned by a citizen in the background, or maybe by J. Jonah Jameson in one of his Just the Facts radio reports. Sadly, we will have to wait until late 2020 to answer these questions, so my overall thoughts are the trailer looks great and I can't wait to see more gameplay footage closer to the expansion's release, since we don't really know much about the plot of it. This looks to solely be focusing on Miles Morales, though I do expect some other characters from the PS4 game to possibly make cameos, primarily Peter Parker, but I think he'll be taking more of a back seat in the expansion because, well, he got a whole game dedicated to him. And then maybe Miles and Peter will work together in the sequel. We don't know that for sure, but I would particularly like to see that. And if Miles shows up in the sequel to Spider Man PS4, then that will provide an interesting dynamic for when Harry Osborn returns. If you saw the end credit scene for Spider Man PS4, then you'll know what I'm talking about. The end credit scene did of course showcase Harry Osborn in some kind of Star Wars back-to-tank thing with what looked to be the Venom symbiote, which is very interesting and a very Sinister Six tease of you, Sony. Though then again, Insomniac made the game, and I'm not sure if Sony had any input, but still, it's good. And one thing I do want to see, potentially, is just a reference to maybe another Marvel hero outside of the Spider-Man universe. Now, they don't have to do this, but hopefully we could just get a reference to one of the more streetwise heroes, like maybe Daredevil or the Punisher. I mean, I'd like a Luke Cage reference, or probably just a reference to the Punisher, given the history that him and Spider-Man have, because Punisher did, of course, debut in the Spider-Man comics way back when, so it would be cool to maybe have a reference to the Punisher or Daredevil at least. So what do you guys think of the expansion, and are you excited for it? Let me know in the comments, and if you have any questions then feel free to ask. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one. I'm trying to stick to a new video schedule so the channel isn't so much cluttered with videos for the foreseeable future. And I'm finishing my final project for college, so I'll be able to dedicate a bit more time to videos for the foreseeable future. Though that will probably change when I go back to college in September, if I go back, depending on the whole lockdown situation. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you soon with another video.